Hello, everybody, and welcome to the United Stand. I'm joined by Fabrizio Romano. How you doing, Fabrizio?
Hi, my friend. All good, all good. Ready for this transfer market coming and for the World Cup, of course.
It's interesting. I thought we'd be having a very different show today, actually, but obviously not the Fabrizio Romano interview, the Cristiano Ronaldo interview last night has really set the football world off in a week where we thought we'd be preparing for the World Cup. Loads to ask you about it, but what's the current state of play? I heard you saying earlier that Ten Hag is furious. What do you think Ronaldo's game is here? Is it the end of Ronaldo, and where do you think he goes from here?
I think there is no way to change the situation, honestly, at the moment. After seeing this interview, as you all know better than me, is a bomb. It's a real bomb. It's something unbelievable, because at this point of the season, we usually see this kind of interviews when the contract has expired, so probably when the player is already in a new club or out of contract, but not when the season is still ongoing. Of course, now we have the World Cup break, but it's really strong to see something like that during the season. So the reaction internally at Manchester United, yes, with Erik ten Hag, I'm told he's absolutely furious and also a bit disappointed, because during the summer he was trying to keep the situation quiet around Cristiano Ronaldo. Also, of course, he knew that the situation was not easy, and also because, for example, in training, in the day-by-day of Manchester United, Cristiano has always been quiet and respectful. Of course, he was not happy. We said many times, he's not happy about the situation. He's not happy of being on the bench in key games. He was not happy with the whole situation around Manchester United. But there was sort of respect between Ten Hag and Ronaldo, and also the manager always tried to be respectful with him, also after the difficult situation after the Tottenham game. So they always tried to keep the situation quiet, to respect each other, and to have a positive feeling around Manchester United new project. And then with this interview is something that Erik ten Hag was not expecting with this kind of words. He knew that Cristiano was not happy, but Ten Hag was not expecting those kind of words. And same for the people into the club, because there is that sentence by Cristiano Ronaldo when he says 2-3 guys into the club, they also wanted to force me out. So also people into the club, into the board, are absolutely not happy at all with this interview. And so now Manchester United are looking at the best way to answer, to give their position on this story. I'm really curious to see what they will decide in the next hours, days, because I expect Man United to go with a strong position. It's also about protecting the squad, protecting the manager, and protecting the whole project, because they are restarting a project. They are a bit disappointed also because they were with a positive feeling after the game with Fulham, and then you have this bomb coming from Cristiano Ronaldo. So this is why it's not easy to manage the whole situation. Manchester United are on it, but I think it will be a really busy week to try to understand what's the next step between Cristiano and Man United.
Yeah, a couple of things there. I mean, Ronaldo said himself he doesn't respect Ten Hag because Ten Hag doesn't respect him. We felt that there was respect between the two. Why do you think Ronaldo disrespects Ten Hag now? Is it because he didn't let him go in the summer, do you think? Or do you think it's more than that?
I think it's also more than that. It's about how he managed the situation. Cristiano Ronaldo, in some key moments of the season, he wanted to be on the pitch. Manchester City game, for example, but many others. Cristiano feels he has to start. He has the opportunity to start, and he feels he's still the best player of the squad. So I think this is a really important point. He's not happy with how Erik ten Hag managed him during the first part of the season. And also the summer. We know that Cristiano wanted to find the best solution, but also Manchester United were not convinced on some of the solutions. But to be honest, it's not just on Manchester United, it's also on Cristiano's side, because it was not easy also for his agent, Jorge Mendes, to find the best solution for Cristiano Ronaldo. We know that Thomas Tuchel said no to a potential move to Chelsea. We know that Bayern decided against a potential sign of Cristiano Ronaldo. Atletico Madrid with Simeone many times mentioned Cristiano as a player that is not of interest of Atletico Madrid. Italian clubs, we had many rumors about Napoli, but at the end, nothing serious, nothing concrete happens between Napoli and Manchester United. So it was not easy to find the right solution for Cristiano. Probably the easiest solution was in the final 20 days of August, when a Saudi club approached Cristiano Ronaldo with a record salary. That was a concrete proposal, a serious proposal, but Cristiano decided to stay and to continue in elite football, in Premier League football with Manchester United. So, I can understand if Cristiano blames the manager or blames Manchester United, but it's also on Cristiano's side to bring the best opportunity for his future. So this is why it's not an easy domino. Also because there is Manchester United side with the new striker topic, because if Cristiano goes, you need to sign a new striker. And this is another important part of the story.
Where do you think Ronaldo goes next? We've spoken about this quite a few times, that Cristiano Ronaldo has always been a player that doesn't speak during the season, makes his mind up in the summer. This is two big things that Ronaldo's done that we wouldn't expect. Walking off against Spurs, doing this interview with Piers Morgan. Surely Ronaldo knows that that's basically the end of his career at Manchester United. Do you think he's doing that to have the freedom to choose where he goes next? Or do you think he actually has a path out? So do you think he has a plan of where he's going to go in January? Or do you think this is just pure carnage, really?
From what I'm told, this interview was not with the plan of, I already know I'm joining this club. As you mentioned, he knows that it's almost over with Manchester United after this interview, but he has still no agreement with any club. This is what I'm told. He's still not agreed or still not decided with any club. Also because, again, it's not easy to find a club at the best level for Cristiano Ronaldo with his salary in January, with many clubs who have no intention to move, because Bayern a few weeks ago with Salihamidzic, the director, Oliver Kahn, the director, they mentioned we are not going to sign any player in January. Chelsea are busy with other kind of deals, like Christopher Nkunku is their priority, as we know since long time. Atletico Madrid, Simeone stated many times that Cristiano is not part of their targets. In Italy, again, Napoli, we had rumors in the summer, we have rumors for January, but coming from Italy, saying Napoli maybe in January can try. It's true that the relationship between Napoli president De Laurentiis and Jorge Mendes is excellent, but the reality is that Napoli are flying and they are not going to touch the squad in January. They don't want to touch any player. So, it's not easy to find something at Cristiano's level in January market. So I think it's going to be a complicated domino, but for sure they have to find a solution. And Cristiano knows that this interview was a message to the market, was a message to the world, was his way to announce his intention, his plans, but also was his way to say the truth, because he said, it's my truth. So that's it.
Do you think there is a scenario where Manchester United's reaction, they probably will be taking legal advice? I know there's been a statement in the last hour that they are going to take some time. If that response was to terminate his contract, therefore making him free, then I would expect there would be clubs in January that would probably go, we might have a look at that on a free. I mean, maybe, I don't know what your thoughts are, maybe even a Chelsea. We know that Todd Bowley's a fan and they need a striker. Could you see that kind of a scenario?
Todd Bowley was tempted by Cristiano Ronaldo in the summer. In June, he was tempted by Cristiano Ronaldo. Was Thomas Tuchel to say no? Now it's up to them, because they have a kind of project with different ideas. They are speaking to Hendrik, this Brazilian guy, 16 years old, who is a top talent. They are speaking to Christopher Nkunku, and the negotiation is more than advanced. So if you bring in Cristiano Ronaldo, how long could be the contract? I don't see a contract of 6 months for a player like Cristiano Ronaldo. So there are many factors. This is why it's not an easy situation to resolve. Also, another point, I don't know if Manchester United will decide to terminate his contract or not. It's on them. They are discussing internally about the best solution. But I don't see Manchester United asking for money for Cristiano Ronaldo in any case in January. They know that they can't continue with Cristiano, and they know that having Cristiano involved in Manchester United project again in January is something that would be embarrassing for Manchester United, honestly, after what he said on the manager, what he said on the club, what he said on the whole project. Because honestly, I think we have to respect also Manchester United project. It's not easy. It's not easy to restart. It's not easy to restart with a new manager. They invested money in the summer. We know it's been a complicated market, but then at the end, they signed important players like Casemiro, Antony in the final weeks. So they're trying to do something. It's not easy. For sure, Cristiano is right on many points, but it's also true that they are trying to restart. This interview is creating a big problem to the club, because it's Cristiano Ronaldo speaking. He's not a normal player. And this is creating a big problem to the image of the club, to many players, to many young players around the world, to many agents, to many people involved into the game, not just to the players who are already in Manchester United, but also to potential targets. So it's important for Man United to answer in the best way, and not with Cristiano Ronaldo as part of their project.
Fabrizio, I did want to ask you this, just on a personal note. One of the most respected journalists in the world. You've got good relationships with many clubs and many agents and many players. I know you're a admirer of Cristiano Ronaldo and Manchester United. What is your personal thought on this situation when that interview came out? Can you see why Ronaldo's done it? Do you think it's a mistake? Is it just really inevitable that it was going to end anyway? So, what were your thoughts when it came out?
My thoughts is, this is what happens in football when a top player and a top club are involved in a story, and they know that they can't continue together, as they knew in June, end of June, beginning of July, August. They knew that the situation was really difficult. Manchester United tried to protect Cristiano. Cristiano was keeping it silent, not to create any big issues during the market. But the reality is that they had to find a solution in the summer. You can't wait and wait and wait with top clubs and top players involved. This is really important in football. This is a big mistake for both sides, because I think it's also on Cristiano's side. It's not just on club side. When you understand that something is not working, I think, for example, this is the power of Real Madrid. They always understand the right moment where they have to proceed, also with top players, as they did with Casemiro, for example. Casemiro is a fantastic player, but that was the right moment to sell him, because he was not hungry as he was in the past. And also with many other players, they did the right decision many times, because they understand the moment. This is their quality, their biggest quality, I think. And so this is why for Manchester United and Cristiano Ronaldo too, that was not a smart idea to continue together in the summer, because they knew it was a big issue. They knew it was not easy to continue. So I think this interview is just the final part of a long story. The problem is not today, was not yesterday's interview. The problem is what happened during the summer, and what happened between Man United and Ronaldo. They decided to continue together. That was not the best way for both sides.
I do agree. I've said it a few times myself. I think that it was always going to be a difficult parting of the ways, but the time to do it was August, because obviously you've got a new manager in Erik ten Hag who needs to be backed and needs to have a clean start. And Ronaldo wanted to go, and I don't know why. Maybe it was United. I presume it was probably just money. United didn't want to write him off for nothing, and no one was going to pay the fee. But I agree with you. I think this was always going to happen if you didn't do it in August. January, maybe before January if he gets his contract terminated. But the next big question is, Manchester United cannot operate this season without Cristiano Ronaldo, because we're very light up front. Does this now force Manchester United into the market in January for a striker? And what sort of targets do you think United would be looking at now? Or do you think they will just let Ronaldo go and somehow try and survive with Anthony Martial up front?
I think they can survive just with Anthony Martial, honestly. I think they know they have to find a striker, also because Erik ten Hag was really clear in the summer with the board, from what I'm told. His message has always been, okay, if we will find a solution for Cristiano, well, but we need a new striker. We need one more striker, because they are in Europa League. Of course, Premier League competition is really hard this season, and also they are in the domestic cups. So there are many games to come after World Cup, so many of the players will be probably tired. Will not be easy to manage the whole group after the World Cup, not just for Man United, of course, but for all the top clubs. And so it's really important for them to have a new striker. So my answer is yes. I expect Man United to go for a striker, because the original plan with Ralf Rangnick was to go for a striker last January and then in the summer. And now we are again in January market, and they need to find a striker. I'm curious to see what Manchester United will decide to do now, because they were waiting to understand if they can find a big opportunity, so an important player who can be Manchester United number 9 for the future, or if they have to go for kind of short-term opportunity and then to go for a big striker in the summer. So we know that in January market is not easy to find top players, and this is why for Man United it will be important to decide if they want a long-term opportunity or a short-term opportunity, and then sign a top striker in the summer. I saw some links to Choupo-Moting, for example, but from what I'm told, Bayern have absolutely no intention to let him go in January. So you have this kind of issue. Victor Osimhen, we have a lot of stories, a lot of rumors, but I'm told Napoli have absolutely no intention to sell any player in January. They're doing incredible in Champions League, in Serie A, and so no plan to sell players. So it's not easy. It's not easy to find the right opportunity. I think the positive news is the World Cup, because the World Cup is always bringing new ideas, is always helping to create kind of domino on the market. And so I always mention a player like Jonathan David, who could be available on the market. He's a young striker. He's a record goal scorer for Lille in Ligue 1. It could be the right opportunity for Man United. Erik ten Hag knows him so well. Or maybe for another club and start a domino of strikers for Man United. So I think they have to wait a bit now and to find the right opportunity. But they need a striker, and they expect them to go for a striker, yes.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because I think Manchester United have made it clear that they don't want to do anything in January. But the reality is they will have to do something in the striker position and in the right-back situation, which we'll speak about in a moment. I did just want to mention a couple of names. A lot of people in the chat are mentioning people like Osimhen and Ivan Toney, who I think are summer signings. They're not going to happen in January. I'd say for January, you're probably, like you said, Jonathan David, maybe a Cody Gakpo. João Felix, do you think there's anything there? We're interested in this summer.
The problem is different kind of player, João Felix is not a number 9. He's not a proper number 9. And also Cody Gakpo is a fantastic talent, but he's not a traditional number 9. So Erik ten Hag in the summer wanted a player like Darwin Núñez. Now, of course, they can say no because he joined Liverpool, but they wanted Darwin Núñez. And he's a proper number 9, a typical number 9. So I expect them to find that kind of striker. Osimhen is this kind of striker, but it's not easy in January. Also, Jonathan David is that kind of striker. He's a number 9, and he could be available in January, I'm told. Of course, the price could be a big one. Let's see what happens with Canada, the World Cup, but I'm told it could be around 45, 50 millions for a young striker who is scoring a lot of goals, who is already Champions League proven. So could be a nice opportunity. But there are also other players on the market. João Felix is not an easy one. It's not an easy one also because Atletico Madrid invested 120 millions on him, and they want big money to let João Felix go. So it's going to be, I think, not so fast, because Manchester United now, they need to deal with this Cristiano Ronaldo issue and then to enter into the strikers market. But they need a striker and they need the right opportunity.
So we're expecting a busy January then for Manchester United, Fabrizio, do you think?
I think, yes, busy on the striker situation. And at the end, it's up to them if they want to invest money or maybe to wait. But I see them going for a striker because, of course, now it's 24 hours dedicated to this Cristiano Ronaldo story. They were not intention signing any striker in January. They wanted to continue with the current squad and then to invest in the summer. But now, after this Cristiano Ronaldo story, I think it will be busy for the striker. And let's see with the right back, because we know that they are looking for a right back. But first point is to find a solution for Wan-Bissaka, to sell Wan-Bissaka, and then to try to bring in a right back. Erik ten Hag wanted Serginho Dest in the final days of the market on loan from Barcelona, but now, of course, he joined AC Milan, so he's not going anywhere in January. But I think the right back and the striker could be the two positions for Manchester United. Yes.
I was going to ask you about the right back situation, because obviously Delot was suspended yesterday and we had a left back playing at right back. He struggled at times, Malacia, but he did a job for us when Wan-Bissaka was fit, as far as I was aware, and not used. It's a big message that we need a right back in January as well. What sort of, I know we spoke about Dumfries in the summer. I imagine that's not a January deal. Frimpong's been mentioned. Max Aaron's been mentioned. There's somebody else as well. What sort of names? I know you mentioned Jonathan David as a potential maybe January signing. Is there anybody that sort of leaps out as a right back in January?
Frimpong is not easy for January, but it's not impossible. I'm told that Bayer Leverkusen will try to keep him. They want to keep him till the end of the season. But if a club arrives with 20-25 millions, it could change. So the Frimpong situation, I will keep it open also because Manchester United have sent their scouts multiple times to follow this boy. He's an interesting player. He will be at the World Cup with the Dutch national team. And so he's a really interesting player. For Dumfries, I think it depends on the proposal too, because if they want to invest 35 millions, but I don't see Manchester United investing that money, especially if they have to go for a striker in January. So it's also about the budget, we have to see if they can find the right opportunity or not. But for that money, 35 millions, I think the Dumfries deal will be complicated. Frimpong is different, but it depends on Man United. If they want to invest on an important right back like Frimpong, or more an alternative, because Dalot is doing very well. Erik ten Hag is really happy with him. And so it's important to understand if they want a backup or if they want to create real competition in that position for a player who is out of contract, because Dalot is still out of contract. I still see Manchester United triggering the option to keep it for one more season. So they feel protected and they know that Diogo Dalot is happy at Manchester United, but this right back situation is one to keep an eye on in January.
I just wanted to ask you as well, Donny van de Beek, he played 3 games in a row for us and didn't really set the world on fire. Do you think that's, look, a lot of people think it's over for Donny at Man United. I know we're both big admirers of him, but it's not been the sort of career that we thought it would be at United. Do you think there's a prospect of him going in January, or do you think that would just be a big no now because United have got too many other areas to worry about?
At the moment, I'm told that there are no negotiations ongoing. First of all, I saw some rumors, but I'm told also on players' side there is still nothing concrete, nothing advanced. In the summer, there were 2 English clubs who asked about Donny in the final weeks of the market. Like, there is a chance for a loan deal, and Man United said absolutely no intention to proceed with any sale or loan of the Donny van de Beek. So let's see now what they will decide. At the moment, I'm told that it's still quiet. It's something that probably will be decided during the January market and not in November or in December. But as of now, nothing going on, and I think I have still chances to stay at Man United till the end of the season and then decide after the whole season. But there are clubs interested there. So if Manchester United would change their position on Donny, there will be 2 or 3 clubs from Premier League already interested in signing Donny van de Beek.
Interesting. And one question that's been coming up in the live chat I have to ask you, and you probably got a bit of information because it's Juventus and it's Italy. Vlahovic, Again, I wouldn't have thought he'd be a January signing, but he might be a player that maybe in the summer. I don't know whether United would look at that.
He's still an important player for Juventus. They invested 80 millions on him last January. So it's not going to be absolutely easy. Also because it's true that the beginning of the season was not easy for Vlahovic, but not because he has any problem with Juventus, but because of injuries. He had multiple injuries. He was not fit. And so there is no problem between Vlahovic and Juventus, but it's about the injuries. So I think it's on the World Cup now. He's at the World Cup with Serbia, and then we will see. But at the moment, it's not something discussed between Juventus or any club because he's still a really important player for Juventus.
Fantastic, Fabrizio. I know you're very, very busy. I know we've got you on in a couple of weeks, and we can dive into a lot of the stuff I had written down for this show in a couple of weeks. But we have, of course, spent a lot of time talking about Ronaldo, which I'm sure we're going to this week.
Yes, sure. And it was a pleasure, really, as always. See you soon. And we will speak about Cristiano again soon, I'm sure. So thank you again for the invitation.
Thank you, Fabrizio. Take care. Speak to you soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Let me just go back to here. Okay, there we go. Perfect. Interesting chat with Fabrizio as always. Loads of people are saying about Maguire for sale. I completely get where you're coming from, but ultimately, Manchester United's stance on Maguire is that no, he's not for sale at the moment. It's there's a lot of information there to just digest very, very quickly. We've gone from a position where United would be saying they're not planning on doing anything in January. And that's why I asked that blunt question of Fabrizio, are we expecting a busy January? And yes, we are, especially around the striker situation. So look, I don't like that interview. I don't. There's a lot more coming out tonight about the Glazers. I've been again accused of being pro Ronaldo, of which I've done 2 videos, one this morning with Ben Foster and one last night, in which both I've been quite consistent. I don't like some of Ronaldo's comments about Ten Hag and Rangnick, but the ones about the club I agree with. My stance is what it is. I don't agree with parts of it. And I do agree with some parts of it. There's going to be more quotes coming out tonight. We've probably had about 10 minutes of a 90-minute interview that's going to happen on Wednesday and Thursday. I've been given a little bit of information from a certain person about what's going to come out. There's stuff going to come out tonight about the Glazers that's going to make people really like Ronaldo again. So I just would say, keep your powder dry. You're absolutely correct to be frustrated with Ronaldo and what he said about Ten Hag and Rangnick, if that's your stance. But there's going to be a lot of stuff coming out tonight that fans are going to go, oh, he's absolutely right there. I don't like what he said about Ten Hag, but he's right there. So trust me, all these Carraghers and everyone else who are just jumping in saying this about Ronaldo and that, this is going to be like a roller coaster. It was a roller coaster of what was released last night. And it's going to be a roller coaster over the next few days because there's going to be bits that you go, oh my God, I can't believe the club's like that. And then there'll be other bits where you go, I don't agree with that. And that's just the way it's going to be. But I go back to where I was a week ago before this interview. And I said, and many of you agreed, that Ronaldo needs to go in January and United need to buy a striker. My feeling was that, and that needs to happen for Ten Hag, Ronaldo and United fans. They need to part ways ASAP, even before the interview. But I felt that the club were going to go, no, you're not leaving in January. You can stay. And that's not good for anybody. What that interview has done is made January become a time to buy a striker, which I actually think is best for us. I think Man United buying a striker in January is best for Manchester United and Ten Hag and the fans. And obviously it's best for Ronaldo to leave. So whatever you think about this scenario and the interview, I think it's forced United to have to buy in January, which is what we need to do anyway. We are going to buy in January. I mean, you'd almost say guaranteed we're buying a striker. And I think we have to buy a right back as well. So we're suddenly going to get the 2 players in January that we do need. Silverback says that Mark wants Ronaldo to stay and he's torn. I'm not. I'm absolutely not. I will tell you for a fact, I do not want Ronaldo to stay. I do not want him to stay. I haven't wanted him to stay for a few weeks now. He wants to go. Ten Hag wants him to go. I want him to go. I saw somebody on Sky earlier saying that there's not a danger of Ronaldo tarnishing his legacy. He's done it. He's damaged his legacy. They're not a Man United fan. Stephen Warnock played for Liverpool and Blackburn. They're not a Man United fan. Don't tell people that Ronaldo has tarnished his legacy, he's damaged his legacy. Bullshit. I know United fans for many years. I'm a bit older than some people. I'm not happy with this situation, but I'm not going to not like Ronaldo for what he did in the late noughties because of what he did last night. Never in a million years. Rooney did bad things in a United shirt. Rooney did bad things behind the scenes. Still a legend. Roy Keane did it. still a legend. Ronaldo will still be a legend. We just need to move past this ASAP. And I want him to go 100%. I don't want him to stay anymore. I want him to go. I would apologize for my stance in the summer. I don't get everything right. Nobody gets anything right. I was probably blinded by, player of the year and the goals. I never felt that Ten Hag wanted him to go. I never felt that Ronaldo really wanted to go. And obviously that was not the case. But, we're starting to get the truth now, aren't we? But look, we're going to be active in the January transfer window. That's a really good interview with Fabrizio. Right back and striker. It's going to be a big few days because of the Ronaldo stuff coming out. But I want to get past that. I want to get past these next few days. Obviously, we're going to consume it. There's going to be some real explosive comments coming out. Of course, Man United need to react. It's a big mess. I think we'll get to a point where maybe the contract... My prediction is that Ronaldo's contract gets terminated in the next few days. That's my prediction. But I want to get past that. I want to get to the next week when we've moved past the interview, the World Cup starts, and we can start to focus on the future, which is what strikers are we going to go for? Because I think the thing is, I predicted this on the weekend. I said, I don't think the next few weeks for United are going to be quiet. I think they're going to be busy. I think we're going to be talking about all sorts of stuff. We've got 2 players to buy in the January transfer market, and we don't know who they are. We need a striker and we need a right back. I want to get to the point over the next few weeks where we're talking about who we're targeting, because we're going to go through about 5 targets of strikers and right backs, aren't we, before we find the one that we want. And all that's got to come out. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to that. I'm not looking forward to the next few days, really, because I already know that Ronaldo needs to go. So everything that's going to get said over the few days about get out of my club or this, that, and the other, the only thing I'm really interested, I'll tell you where I am now. Obviously, there's a breakdown between Ten Hag, Ronaldo, and the club. We know that. That's not breaking news. That's slow sports news. What I'm interested in now, and I think what you're interested in as well, I'm interested in what is going to come out about the Glazers and the depth of what's going to come out of that interview. As an observer, I'm just interested in that now. Nothing's going to shock me. And then I want to move past that to the right back and the striker talk. And on strikers, Fabrizio's been on the show every couple of weeks, as we know. We'll obviously have him on in a couple of weeks again. He's mentioned Jonathan David a lot. Mario says we're linked with Agala and Makeda. Jonathan David's a player I would keep an eye on because Fabrizio keeps mentioning him. And that just makes me think he's right about Gakpo. He's not an out-and-out striker. Neither's João Felix. Who else is there available? At right back, again, there's a couple of options. Frimpong, Dumfries, but how easy are they to get hold of? What is, without question, a positive and true is we need to spend in January and we need to bring 2 players in. I would say now, if Ronaldo goes, which he will, if we get a right back and a striker in January, we've got a really good chance of top 4. So amongst all the stress and the frustration and all that, I actually feel quite positive about what United could achieve this season if we do what needs to be done in January. It's not what needs to be done. They've got to do it. Imagine if we didn't buy a striker in January and Ronaldo left. We can't survive. Dalot can't play every week either. So, we'll just have to wait and see what happens with that. But look, I thought it was a fantastic interview and really, really enjoyed it. And we just need to move on ASAP. But we can't really move on when there's more and more stuff coming out, I know. Obviously, I'll be live at 8 o'clock tonight. We may well end up with another late night show. I was live at 10:30 last night as well, depending on when these Glazer comments come out that are going to come out, Piers Morgan has said. Just massive. This is a big shout out from me. Big shout out from me. My video, there's 2 big announcements from the United stand, right? One on Thursday, massive announcement on Thursday. I know a lot of people are guessing what that's all about. We've got a massive announcement on Thursday. Saturday, all day is my charity stream, so get ready for that. But today, it came out at midday. It's been out for 3 hours. A lot of you might have watched it already. It says it there from Mum. Great advert, Mark. Keep up the good work. It's sort of mockumentary behind the scenes of Goldbridge filming an unofficial World Cup advert. I put the link in the live chat for you. It's on my Twitter feed anyway. You might never have been on that channel before, but if you like my content and you've watched me, please do watch it because I'd love you to watch it and just get your comments about it. That's all I ask. Please watch it and just take it as face value and what you think about it, because I've got a couple of sitcoms that I'm sitting on that I might film next year. They're both pilots. We might well do it. So I just want to get people's thoughts on how we did this. It's sort of a behind the scenes of what was going on when we were filming this advert for Wash and Go. And we've had some interesting feedback on it. And look, as a personal favor, please do watch it because it's the feedback I'm interested in. So please do give it a watch. It's at the top of the video description, live chat, or you can just type in Mark Goldbridge channel and find it, or look on my Twitter feed. I'd really appreciate everyone just giving it a watch and get your thoughts on it. Because it was an enjoyable thing to do. It was an enjoyable thing to do. Saeed says he absolutely loved it. Please do give it a watch. I'm going to be playing Football Manager in about 10 minutes on Twitch as well. So I'll see you on there. 8 o'clock tonight as usual. Lots of people saying they enjoyed it. Please do give it a watch. Thanks for watching, everyone. We've also got a really good interview with Ben Foster that's gone up on the channel earlier. Some great stuff to be watching. And I'll speak to you all in a bit. Thanks for watching.